Well, artificial intelligence may be revolutionizing our lives, but it's also straining New Jersey's power grid. Data centers fueling the AI boom are multiplying across the state, consuming enormous amounts of electricity and water. It's become a flashpoint in the race for governor, while lawmakers propose new rules to manage demand and industry groups warn against overregulation. Our senior correspondent Brenda Flanagan joins us with more on what's driving the surge and the growing fight over who should pay for it. Brenda.
Hey, Bree. So lots of folks love using AI, but it comes at a premium price. New Jersey ratepayers saw their electricity bills spike by almost 20% this summer, costs driven up in large part by the enormous power that'll be needed to run new data centers, according to analysts. These buildings house stacks of complex servers and cooling systems, and they're popping up all over the U.S., particularly here in New Jersey. But keeping track of them isn't easy, partly because it's a highly competitive industry that doesn't like to share intel. Professor Philip Odonkor of the Stevens Institute of Technology explains.
They're trying to make it as difficult as possible for you to find out how much electricity their data center is going to use. Because once you know that, you know their processing capabilities, and you kind of know what they're capable of doing. So there's a lot of effort being put into keeping this information as secret as possible. So a lot of it is being redacted, a lot of it is being put under red tape, you name it. So trying to get a full picture of where data centers are popping up and what their capabilities are is challenging.
Odonkor is a professor of systems engineering. He says Jersey's a magnet for this new industry, close to customers, including universities, medical research, and fintech in New York City and Philadelphia. One industry analyst puts the New Jersey number at more than 80 data centers built or under development in New Jersey. They now include two massive new projects under development, the 300 to 400 megawatt facility from Nebius in Vineland and a 140-plus megawatt center by CoreWeave in Kenilworth.
The data center capacity in New Jersey is around a little over 500 megawatts. And between CoreWeave and this new one being put together, I think combined, you're already looking at close to 400, 500 megawatts. So just those two are going to more than double our data center capacity, just like that.
We need to, as a state, we need to, as a region, get more generation on board, either to meet this growing capacity, or these facilities need to bring their own generation. I'm not sure what the answers are at the moment, but these are some of the considerations that need to be answered. The answer is not to prevent them from locating within the region. I think we as a nation, need AI. It's the future. It's a matter of national security as well. This technology needs to grow and advance.
Now, that's Ray Cantor with New Jersey's Business and Industry Association. He says data center development, while not exactly a Wild West market, is fast outpacing the power sources that make it run. That electricity is distributed through PJM, the nation's largest grid system, serving 13 states and Washington, D.C. Demand's outstripping supply, especially in New Jersey, where electricity rates are expected to rise again next summer.
It takes about 18 months to develop a data center. Yet, to build the capacity for those data centers could take years. So there's a disconnect between the growth of the load and the ability to address the generation. We need to close those gaps. We need to figure out where the energy is going to be coming from. And we need to do permitting reform so we get generation on board quicker. We need to maybe repower some of our natural gas plants, maybe bring some of the older ones back online, but we need policies in place that allow it to happen.
Now, the impact on electricity cost is so radical, some advocates want to create a special billing classification for data centers, charging them much higher rates for the electricity they use. A recent FDU poll showed 68% of New Jersey voters agree with that idea. Assemblywoman Andrea Katz has proposed a rate surcharge, which could then help pay for upgrading the power grid's electrical lines and substations.
The number one issue that I hear from my bosses, my constituents, my voters, is that their bills are going up really fast, really high, very quickly. And we know that there's two reasons for this. The increased demand on the grid, which is what these data centers are putting on, this large increased demand. And also our infrastructure needs a lot of improvements. Our grid needs a lot of work. So my bill looks to address those two issues at one time.
Now, a similar bill that had imposed tariffs on data center rate increases has already passed the Assembly. And then there's Beyonce. It stands for Bring Your Own Clean Energy and would make data centers provide their own power. It's proposed by the Natural Resources Defense Council, environmental advocates taking a carrot and stick approach, according to Claire Langree.
The basic one-sentence summary of NRDC's proposal is we're proposing to allow data centers to join PJM's grid as fast as they want, but not guarantee them firm service. So they'll be given interruptible service until they bring their own capacity.
Now, the Nebbia Center in Vineland will be self-powered with a very high-tech cooling system to lower energy demands, but it's fueled by natural gas. The NRDC campaigns for clean energy over fossil fuels, and it's proposed based on the idea that deep-pocket tech companies profiting from AI like Microsoft, Google, Meta, and Amazon should pay for the extra energy this new technology consumes.
States will be the deciding factor about if this data center race is a race to the bottom or a race to the top. And to put it really bluntly, the states are the ones who ultimately decide when there's not enough power to go around, if the data center gets shut off or if grandma's house gets shut off.
Now, a PJM spokesman told us they wouldn't comment on these ideas, but that they're talking with stakeholders and will file a proposal in December with FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, to address some of these concerns. They want to make the whole process of forecasting energy demands more accurate and to give state agencies like the BPU more input, especially on the large megawatt data centers.
So what about lawmakers, Bren? I know that they had recently passed a law that would require the BPU to study some of this, maybe look at some surcharges, some tariffs. Where does that stand?
Well, they did pass that bill. The governor signed it in July. They also passed a bill sponsored by Democrats that would have required data centers to report their water and energy usage to the BPU 4 times a year with that data made public. But Governor Murphy just conditionally vetoed that measure. He wants the legislature to amend the existing law and require that data be sent to the BPU, but confidentially. The sponsors are not amused.
Brenda Flanagan for us. Great reporting as always, Bren. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Bree.